Those days when I was like, man, this is a lot of work. And it's never been like this before. And I'm far away from home, and it was just kind of like a miniature prison where you're supposed to be because you're supposed to stay focused and do all these wonderful things. But um, how you learn was a big deal. Um,
What do you mean by how you learn?
well, therapy school, I learned wasn't hard, but it was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes if you looked around the classroom, you saw people taking notes,
Mm-hmm.
and then you saw other people highlighting, you saw other people videotaping, you saw other people audio taping, you saw other people just playing with different things like bones or finger parts. So it was about how you learn,
Okay.
and when I started learning that I was kinesthetic, I
Mm-hmm.
started putting toys together and drawing pictures that made sense to me.
Okay.
And that's actually what helped me with the boards in the
Oh.
end was how do I learn best? Because it's a lot of information. I tell people all the time, therapy school is kind of like a mathematics problem. If you have 1 plus 1, 3 plus 3, you don't think much about it if you only have 20 to do a night. But therapy school is like having 1,000 of those problems every night.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to figure out your time management, when to do the work, and how to retain it for the next day was big.
Mm-hmm. So, how is it that you got through 7 classes, 19 units?
Mm,
After you learned what your style was,
right.
your learning style, what were the other things that you did?
I had to learn how not to waste time.
Oh, and what things wasted time?
Well, for example, I had to learn that I wasn't good at group studying.
Oh,
I got distracted quickly.
okay.
You know, um, I learned that once I learned the information first, then it was easier for me to go into a group.
Okay.
But if I was going into a group first and no one knew what they were doing really in that group, everybody's kind of having their own opinion, it kind of threw me off.
Okay.
So I had to make sure I didn't waste my time studying with the wrong people, the wrong types of people.
Okay.
Um, Another thing I learned was I didn't retain much after 12 o'clock midnight. So when I was an undergraduate, I would do these all-nighter type scenarios, but it doesn't work in therapy school. So what I would do is I would stop at 12, and then I would get up at 5
Okay.
to study,
Uh-huh.
because those are the times that I studied best,
Okay.
and that's when I retained. There's no point in reading the same sentence 800 times if you don't know what you're doing. Um, Going to the professors early to talk to them about issues or questions I didn't understand.
Okay.
A lot of times office hours to me meant nothing. I just didn't use the professor's office hours.
Mm-hmm.
But when I started saying, hey, this is office hours and I have questions, so this is a good time to go, instead of going to Drayson to work out, maybe I should go ask questions about my work.
Okay.
So I think it was easier when I went through gross anatomy, because gross anatomy was the most challenging class we had. And so gross anatomy, you had, 4 hours in the morning and then 4 hours in the afternoon lab, and then the next 4 or 5 hours you were in the library, and you just knew that schedule.
Okay.
But as the classes kind of weaned down and changed around, I didn't do that as much.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't focus my time on studying. I tried to do other things. And the social stuff came out, let's go work out, let's go sing here, let's go do this. And it's therapy school's therapy school. You gotta finish it.
You gotta finish it. Okay. All right. I can't think of anything else to ask you. If you just have something to say, that would be fine.
I think the biggest deal is recognizing in the beginning of therapy school is hard, but you can make it. A lot of people, you're not able to slack off in therapy school. You have to be consistent, recognize it's going to be hard from day one to the end to finish your boards. And then you can do a lot of stuff you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But when you finish, you recognize that other people had to do the exact same thing. There's nothing different. No one's beating up on you because you had to study and you had to pay attention and you had to go the extra mile. You had to get up early, stay up late.
Mm-hmm.
You had to, just keep studying, keep going. Because even when you finish therapy school, you get into the real world and it doesn't change much. you know, except you have a license and you still have individual patients that are expecting you to do the homework on them, on their disease process to get them better.
Okay.
And you have to be a perfectionist because you're dealing with other people. It's not just you anymore.
Well, Dr. Peterson, we thank Dr. Peterson for the time that he spent with us this morning before he goes to practice. How many patients do you see a day, roughly?
Probably about 20.
Ah, that's a full day.
It's a full day.
That's a very full day. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Miss Camera Lady.